Alright guys, it's been a little while since I made a video. I'm just trying to catch up. My work schedule doesn't allow me to get out here as much as I'd like. So what I'd like to point out is that I finished welding up this inner mini wheel tub, and I'll show you guys the inside. But what I did do is I kind of worked ahead and I mocked in the wheelhouses. So I welded the new wheelhouse, the outer wheelhouse, to the inner wheelhouse. And then I put it in place. So there's a few things. I'm not even sure if it's in the other videos, but I had drilled out this hole here with the spot hole cutter and one down here. And I used those for alignment marks so I could put it back in that same spot in the car. So what I found was that actually worked out really well. I didn't do that on the other side, and I don't think it messed it up. It just makes you guess a bit more. Pardon me. So then what I did was you make sure you can get as tight as you can. I could probably get this a bit tighter, but it's not in. I just got some sheet metal screws holding it, and that's it. What I did want to show you was how the fit up goes. So when you're looking down in here, you can see how she will pull in tight when I put the bottom in. She's just kind of floating around right now, but when it's all pulled in, it'll fit good. The other thing that I wanted to show you guys, which I don't think I'll actually show you, I'll just tell you about it, was on the other side I had to unroll, I think it was this corner, just a little bit to get it to meet the quarter panel. And again, I think that was an error on my part, putting the wheelhouse in probably on a little bit of an angle compared to what the original was. And that's why on this side I decided to put those holes so I have something that puts it there. I did try this against the quarter panel, the full quarter panel, and it fits perfect, like against itself, if you get it 100% correct in place. So with that being said, what I did on this side was I wanted to fit it in, and then I did hang the quarter yesterday just to see how this wheel molding area, like how much gap there was to it. Like you can clamp up and pull quite a bit of tension, but I wanted to see how it was, and it looked great. So now I'm in the process of, I'm going to take this out, I'm going to weld the wheelhouse from the other side to the outer wheelhouse, because you can see here I did 3/8 holes and I plug welded them up. Maybe you can't see. I plug welded these up, and I'm going to just fill in whatever holes are on the other side back to this wheelhouse. And then I got a bit of cleaning and prep work, like I got still like the old quarter panel hanging on underneath here that wouldn't let me put the quarter panel in right. And then starts the process of fitting the quarter panel for me. So once the quarter panel is fit and I like how it's starting and finishing, then I'm going to change this pillar doorpost here. So for me, that's what will happen after I get the quarter panel where I like it. I'll take the quarter panel off because I'm not going to put it in until this is changed. And that's it. So I'll show you guys the inner wheelhouse. I'm going to take that back out now, do up some welding and prepping, and hopefully by the end of today I'll have that back in the car, minus fully finished welding it, but get a few spots in so that she's in. The other thing I did, just remembered, was I traced this outline so I can buff off that E-coat and put some weld through primer on. Okay, so on this one I'm not sure again where I left off, but I had welded the trunk floor, or the Dutchman panel I believe that's called, to the frame rail that has been cut off flush, and I put in a piece of metal in there. I didn't do this side yet, but I might not, because the wheel tub brings the wheel well in enough. So I have this panel made up and it matches that side, which you probably can't see now because all the dust and junk in the way. But there's a panel there welded in just to kind of duplicate the floor I do have one hole there that needs to get patched up, but the small stuff like that I'm not too worried about. So this one ends up, after the wheelhouse is in, going in here like this and fitting in alongside of it, and it'll be raised up and everything and welded back in. So just to show you that, the inner wheelhouse is welded from both sides, so you can see the inside seam. It's not welded great, but I mean, it's just sheet metal. You can't really lay a bead. You end up triggering and just spot weld, spot weld, spot weld. And it's welded from the outside, pretty well the same. This side and this side. So, as I said, I'm going to put the inner against. So I got a few holes here. Like this is one of my alignment holes. I'm going to fill in all these guys and grind them flush. Probably fill in a bit of this stuff, and then I'll dolly that flange straight. Got a couple of these holes to fill in, and the trunk lid torsion bar mount wood factory sat there, but now it's going to be welded in along here. So that's the inner. That'll be the end of the wheel tub, mini tubbing. I'm hoping to get it welded in today. Like I said, at least a few spots. I do got this mouse nest inside the rocker that I got to vacuum out, and then clean up a few of these little bits, and I think I'm going to put it in. I'll definitely take a bit more time before that happens. Alright guys, hopefully you at least see something or learn a couple seconds worth of something out of these videos. Alright, so I took this all apart and I cleaned everything up. I plug welded this in, so I trial fit the quarter panel probably another 2 times. I'm okay with where the wheel well sits and everything. I am having a bit of difficulty on this corner piece. The door gap appears to be quite large at the top, and that's how the other one was as well, but I'm gonna have to play with the quarter panel separately to this. So these are plug welded in. That's structural now. I checked this here, and I did take this off a couple times, and I pre-drilled some holes so I can probably can't see them. Maybe yeah. Anyway, you can see those holes. So I thought I would show you guys just the final fit, so you can see up in the edge there, everything's good. So back here, obviously, there's a gap, but that's because this piece will end up in there, right? This piece will end up in there, welded in, and I probably got to do a little trimming just to get this in just a bit tighter to the body again yet, but it's just tight in here. So I'll do that as we go before I weld that in. Yeah, so that's the mini tub, pretty well installation. I'm gonna go around and weld it all in now, and then yeah, it'll become a quarter panel, a bunch of trial fits, probably 20 or 30 trial fits. That should be it.